We're live on Instagram. We are just waiting for Facebook to go live. So, hey friends, we are going live today. Hello, Miss Tara. Love to see you on here, girl. Tiger look, nice to see you guys. Okay, so if you guys are here with me, just don't forget to hashtag I'm here. Or if you're catching a replay, hashtag replay for me, Mr. Facebook friends. So today I wanted to give us a chat about what the heck are fermented foods, how you can add them into your diet, and what they actually do for you. What do fermented foods do for your gut health? So, I want to preface this with chronic bloating is not normal. Chronic bloating is not normal. It's one thing for your belly to expand throughout the day while you're eating food. You're never going to keep that morning belly all throughout the whole day. But chronic major bloating is not normal. And so, one of the things that you can start looking at is your gut health and different things that you can do to add some benefits into your gut health. Tiger, look, I'm doing really good today. How are you? So let's kind of just go down a little bit of the list. Sorry, on Instagram, like it's super dark on my phone here. So let me just, there we go. Okay, it's still going. We're good. Okay, so let's have a little bit of a chat here about basically what fermented foods are and what they can do for you. Okay, so I do have a couple notes. So if it looks like I'm reading, well, because I want to give you accurate information. So one of the biggest benefits of fermented foods comes from the probiotics in them, guys. So probiotics are basically you know, there's stuff that helps you with your guts. I'm gonna just keep it less sciency because I do want this to be accessible to everybody. So a lot of research coming out of Harvard right now is actually discussing that the type of gut bacteria that are found in North Americans is changing. And one of the possible reasons for this is that our microbiomes, the little baby, like the tons and tons of little microbes in our body, are not getting replenished that they were the way that they were in past generations. And that's because of changes in our North American diet. That's like the rise of processed foods, hyper amounts of animal products. Again, I'm not shitting on them. You can eat them, but just be smart about things, okay? And with better hygiene, we've actually cut down the amount of microbes that would have been exposed to us from like the soil. Like back 60, 50, like 60, 70 years ago, how many of your grandparents had giant um, gardens and stuff? How many people cooked and grew their own vegetables in the summer? If you're in an area that has it year round, you're really friggin' lucky. But a lot of the times, people would have a section of their yard dedicated to a veggie patch or things along those lines so that they were able to lower their grocery bills and eat really hyper local, nutritious food. So, that being said, by us buying all the stuff in the grocery store, there's like no soil. And some of that actually comes from us being, a little bit too clean. So, those contaminants can actually be sometimes good for our gut biomes, okay? And also, antibiotics are used a lot more frequently. And when you're on antibiotics, it can actually really majorly affect your gut biome because it kills off both the good and the bad organisms, okay? So, changes to our gut biomes, what it does for us is it can create an imbalance, meaning it's not balanced between good and harmful bacteria, leading to health problems. And in the digestive tract, that's really crappy. Ha ha ha. No, but literally, it's really crappy because your digestive tract is where you actually absorb the nutrients in your system. Vitamins and minerals get absorbed into your body and properly digested, okay? And so, when the digestive tract has an unhealthy amount of organisms, it can lead to the weakening of intestinal walls, which can sometimes cause perforations, which is very, very, very dangerous. It can lead to like leaky gut syndrome and such. Chronic exposure to this kind of stuff can also lead to other health problems. This is off of Harvard, not me. Ranging from asthma to eczema to schizophrenia to Alzheimer's disease. But fermented foods can help bolster or boost up the gut microbiome, by creating a healthier mix of microbes and strengthening the walls of the intestines to keep them from being leaky, because nobody likes a round of sepsis. If you can avoid it, let's avoid it. So, in order for us to grow a healthy microbiome, there's a few things that we can do because nobody likes chronic, bloated, nasty bellies and eczema. I'm living proof. I have eczema on my cheeks. That's why they're super red. And I have a little bit that's still remaining here because I had something yesterday that actually had a sneaky amount of dairy in it. And lo and behold, major reaction just from a tiny, tiny bit. So, this is just letting you know that you have to triple read everything. But that's my body. That's not everybody's body. Does that make sense? I'm just going to check for comments coming in on Facebook. Looks like we are quiet so far, and that's all right. It's a little bit later at night. So, guys, things that you can do for your healthy gut biome would be, eating probiotics from fermented foods from an early age. This can help train your immune system to tolerate and cooperate a diverse and really strong. Oh, yeah, egads, that is unfortunate. Yeah, that's why it's back. Yeah, no, not fun. And it actually knocked me on my ass earlier today. Like, I had a nap for an hour and a half after sleeping for 10 hours. That's how badly and how strongly dairy affects my body now. It's something in it that affects my Hashimoto's, and it just flares me to all flying sin. So, this was a very minimal work day, but that's the good thing of being self-employed, right? So, back on the topic of healthy gut microbiomes, okay? Happy guts, basically. Yes, that's right, happy guts. What we want to do is, when we're taking regular probiotics after a few months, a few years, a person's microbiome can actually become more stable. And adults who eat fermented foods and eat them regularly, let me preface that, regularly as in daily or every 2 days, can still reap benefits, okay? So, ways that we can add them into our diets are by introducing foods like sauerkraut, kimchi, live cultured food. So, live culture would not only be found in just yogurts and yogurt like foods like kefir. Okay. Most people think whenever you go for like probiotics and stuff, you go for yogurt or you go for kefir because they are fermented. And if you can have dairy, that is something that you can do. But if you're like me, where you get crazy reactions, evidently that's not going to happen. You can actually find them in other fermented products like kombucha, coconut yogurts. There's now like almond yogurts and a whole bunch of other things. You can find them in some pickles. Pickled vegetables, which like Korean pickled vegetables, is a mix called kimchi. Sauerkraut, like I said. And those are simple little things that you can do instead of just taking a supplement. You can also supplement different intensities of probiotics. Now, that's going to be dependent on where you are in your kind of journey, how strong you need to be, and if you just came off of antibiotics. So I had a root canal infection in this tooth right here. And so I can actually feel the root if I press right here. That's how infected it got. And that's from an improperly done root canal 2 years ago. And unfortunately, with COVID and everything, it got pushed and pushed and pushed. And finally, 2 weeks ago, I just cracked and was like, I need help now. So I went to an amazing endodontist. So they specialize in root canals, and we put in a temporary stop. But that being said, I had to take 2 rounds of amoxicillin. And as somebody with an autoimmune condition, I'm really, really, really particular about my gut health. So I have been on a very high dose of probiotics for about 10 days now. And it's making a huge difference just in bloating levels and overall water retention and things like that. So it can have a very big impact on you. So whenever we do have these, you want to include in your range. If there's a little bit of soil on some bok choy, it's not the end of the world, okay? It's actually awesome. You can also look at, adding in, what was my other note here? Sorry, I just caught off guard here. Basically, you want to start with eating raw and cooked vegetables, the pickled options or fermented options that you can have. And then You can always put them like on a side with dinner or topping with a salad. You can also add in other options like fermented soybeans, which would be found in natto, tempeh, and tofu and miso. So those are other ways to get fermented products into your day to day. If you're super adventurous, you can always, sorry, my nose is really itchy. You can always try fermented fish if that's something that interests you. I know in like Eastern European cultures, pickled herring is a big thing, but it's a bit of a bit of an acquired taste, just saying. And I do have kind of like the top 5 reasons I would say you should add more fermented foods into your diet. I'm just going to check some of the comments because Instagram's really alive tonight. Miss Cortis, you always found that most fermented foods you get sick to your stomach with a few exceptions. It could be that you don't really love the kefir. Like kefir tastes really gross. Has to be like hidden in stuff. So perhaps this would be a chance for you to try something like kombucha, but start in smaller doses if it's really bothering your tummy at the beginning because it's a new foreign thing to you. And if you can't get them from food, that's where supplementation could be beneficial. So, here are 5 reasons, in my humble opinion, that you should add more fermented foods into your diet. Number 1, you don't digest food alone. The good bacteria in your gut helps to break down complex carbs, and the fermenting and metabolizing process of other stuff is beneficial for your body. So, the more diverse your gut microbiome is, you're going to need plenty of soluble fiber. So something like oats, beans, oranges, fruits, things like that. And insoluble fiber, the stuff that is found in most whole grains, is really good for you, but it's not easily fermented. Okay. So you digest the good stuffs with your gut. Okay. So high fiber fermented foods. But if you're going to come down to reason number 2, the good bacteria fight the bad, and the good bacteria typically win. Okay. So every single day, you're going to swallow bacteria. And you're not always going to get sick from it because the tiny little dudes in your gut that are all like little soldiers coming in to save your gut, come and take care of it. The good bacteria create that acidic fermentation, which lowers your intestine's pH level and decreases your chance that bad bacteria can live. So I don't know if that's a good enough reason for you, but it is to me. Your third reason is that your body needs help making certain vitamins. Not sure if you knew that, but the good gut bacteria, we can thank them, our little soldiers, our little Roman soldiers in our guts, for synthesizing and producing as many vitamins as our body needs. And some of this includes vitamins B1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 12, and K. Okay? Ha! Sorry, I didn't mean to say K twice. The fourth reason is that your body needs balance. Okay? A healthy body needs balance. And when we have healthy guts, the rest of us is really healthy. So, research is showing that less diversity in your gut is associated with a lot of chronic diseases, of course, like obesity, asthma, chronic diseases such as inflammatory bowel disease, IBD. And of course, there's a lot more other things that are being researched at this time as to why it is the case. And number 5 is that our good little gut soldiers can help restore gut health after taking antibiotics, like my story. So, after taking antibiotics, a lot of people experience bloating, diarrhea, nasty little problems in their digestion afterwards. It's because they wipe out both good and bad. So, after antibiotics in particular, it's really important that you have probiotics, fermented foods to help you restore everything back to normal, and making sure you're eating a diet in high fiber and plant-based foods are going to help that flourish the most. Okay, plants and fiber are kind of like king for gut health. So you can also, like I said, I would say, yeah, the biggest ones I typically have are kimchi. I have kimchi almost every day. I go through buttloads of it, and that's just because it's really healthy. and I really like it. So, and if you don't like specific ones, each kimchi variety tastes a little different. So if there's something that you don't quite love about one, maybe it's not spicy enough, maybe it's too spicy. You can find different balances throughout. You can also do sauerkraut. Not a huge lover of sauerkraut, but to mix things up, I do have it. I do coconut yogurts, and I also go for kombucha at least once a week, just as my own little treat to me. Every time I do groceries, I always buy a kombucha. So my favorite one is GT's. They are made in Quebec and they're super, super nice. If you like ginger, they have like some of the strongest ginger ones. Do you guys have any questions for me on this? If not, I think I might skedaddle out early today. I'm super happy that kombucha is good for you. That is awesome. All right, friends, I'm off for the evening, but I hope you have a kick ass rest of your night and I hope you learned a few things. Take care.